My name is Alex. I'm 23 years old and I wear a denture. I was roughly maybe about 16 years old when I noticed my teeth really started to go bad. It started with my back teeth. All four wisdom teeth came in and they were impacted. They were pushing on my back molars and just kind of causing decay on those back teeth. Got my wisdom teeth out when I was 16. And then I think I was about 17 and I finally went to a dentist and everything was just kind of falling apart at that point. And I went to a dentist and she kind of looked at me in disgust and she just couldn't understand why somebody so young had such bad teeth. I left there crying with a referral to go to an oral surgeon to have 5 teeth pulled, and then she advised me that I would need extensive work on the remaining teeth in my mouth. I went to the oral surgeon. They pulled those 5 teeth. They were just not salvageable at all, broken at the gum line. After that, I really did not want to go back to that dentist. She didn't make me feel comfortable at all. If anything, I had way more anxiety and I just was terrified. I then turned 18. I actually moved out on my own, got my own health insurance and dental insurance, and I then decided it was time to go see another dentist because everything was just a mess and it was very painful. I went and saw another dentist. He did a full exam. He never looked at me in disgust, never judged me, didn't make me feel uncomfortable, and he just came up with a plan and said, okay, we're gonna do this and this and this, and it's gonna take a long time, but we're gonna do it. So over the course of a year, I ended up having 20 root canals done, 20 or 22. And then for every root canal, I also had a post and core put in to help stabilize the tooth. And then on top of that, I would have a crown put on every single tooth. There was only 2 teeth right here I did not have any work done on. They were the only 2 teeth that were semi-okay. I was able to just get fillings on those. But for a year, I was in and out of the dentist's office, probably I'd go 2-3 times a month, and it was just root canals, doing the post and cores, putting temporary crowns on, then the final crowns, and then at the end of the year I was all done and I was scheduled to come back for my cleanings. It wasn't even a couple months later that things just started to continue to fall apart. I had a bridge and it was connected to 2 other teeth with just like a fake tooth in the middle that would constantly just come out. He would re-cement it. I would have other crowns come loose. Infections would pop up. He would put me on antibiotics and treat it. I ended up needing more and more teeth pulled because there was nothing else that could be done. They were just, infections kept popping up, and I was in and out of the ER all the time. And I mean, it really, everything started to fail within a year or two, like just everything. It was like a domino effect. So by the time I was 21, I actually decided to go to another dentist as an emergency visit because I had like a really bad infection up here. I don't know, I didn't really trust the previous dentist. I know I had bad teeth prior, but I just felt like in that short amount of time, everything shouldn't have been failing like that. So I went and saw another dentist as an emergency visit. She looked at that tooth and she said, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's gonna have to come out. She also took full x-rays, and it was at that appointment I learned that I would actually need all of those teeth to come out, as well as some on the bottom. Not one of my upper teeth were salvageable at that point. So This this scared me a little bit. Well, immediately we set up an appointment with an oral surgeon. I believe he pulled that really infected tooth. And he also pulled one on the bottom at that time. And then I also went for a consultation for dental implants. And it was just, the cost was way out of what I could afford. I believe at that time I was quoted roughly $30,000, and that was for the all-in-6. That's basically where they put 6 implants in, and then they put like a permanent bridge in. They screw it onto the implants, and it's made from zirconia. So the bridge itself is pretty expensive. But at that point, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I spent roughly a year saving up, trying to figure out how I could get those dental implants. I tried applying for different credit lines. And at this point, I was also getting married that same year, so I was paying for my wedding as well. And at the end of the year, it just came down to my teeth were just getting so much worse, and they were so badly infected. Honestly, like it could have killed me. And it just came down to I couldn't wait anymore. So October 28th of 2019, I was 22 years old. I went to an oral surgeon, and I had all of my upper teeth removed, as well as some on the bottom, and I had a full upper denture put in. I was really scared. I had a ton of emotions. I honestly, though, I was kind of ready to just be done and over with all the infections, the pain, the suffering. I was ready to just kind of move on, and so I wasn't as scared as I used to be. I was kind of prepared. I spent a lot of time researching dentures, watching videos. There's actually one girl that I became really good friends with, Alicia. She posted about her dental implants on YouTube, and she has a channel. And I watched a lot of those, and all of the videos that I watched helped me a lot and prepare myself for what I was going to go through. When I had the surgery, I was put to sleep. I woke up in the dentures of my mouth. I was really numb, so I didn't feel much at first, but after the numbing started to wear off, it just felt like this big, bulky hockey puck in my mouth. I don't know how else to describe it. I couldn't swallow at first. I couldn't do anything. It was impossible to talk. I couldn't talk at all. And when you get an immediate denture like that, you can't take it out. You're supposed to leave it in for the first full 24 hours. You're not supposed to take it out because it acts as like a Band-Aid, and it helps prevent you from losing any clots, which could lead to dry socket. And it also helps control the bleeding, and it just keeps everything contained, because what will happen is when you lose your teeth and they extract them, you swell up, and the denture, you know, if you remove that and you swell up, you won't be able to get it back in for a couple days or a week. So you're supposed to really just keep it in, especially the first 24 hours. It's really important. I didn't really listen. I think about maybe 12 hours after my surgery, I was just kind of getting really nauseous. It just felt like a lot in my mouth. I was drooling so much. I ended up taking it out in the middle of the night. But it worked for me. I went back to my dentist, I think maybe a day or two later, and she was able to get it back in, did some adjustments. And I did struggle a little bit in the beginning. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I have issues with gagging. I have a fear of throwing up, gagging, and if I felt that feeling at all, I would just take the denture right out. I wouldn't even deal with it. So there was issues with that in the beginning. I kept going back to have them shave it down. And my dentist is super cool. She's so nice. She did whatever I asked. But I don't know, I kind of took matters into my own hands, and I ended up fully horseshoeing my denture. That's where you cut the palate out of the upper denture, and it stops gagging. People that have sensory issues, feels better for them. Some people say it can taste better. I didn't really notice a difference, but it did help a lot with my gagging issue. And so it's been about 8 months now, and I still have my full upper denture. Right now I have 8 remaining teeth on the bottom, and they're in pretty bad shape. I'm actually going Monday to see about getting those removed and getting a full lower denture. And I also wanted to kind of touch base because I will be getting dental implants. So I wanted to find out, where we are with that. If we'll be doing the top implants first, or if I should start with the bottom, kind of go from there. But that's where I am now. I kind of just wanted to start a channel, share my story in hopes that it will maybe help somebody else that is really scared to do this. Because I know I was scared, and it's really, 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 really difficult to go through this at such a young age. But there are tons of people, old and young, that have had this done and that live with dentures, some people younger than me. It's honestly normal, it's just not talked about enough. But yeah, so I just wanted to share my story. I'm always here. I'm on Facebook, I'm in a bunch of denture groups, and I'm just always here to give advice and help anybody that is struggling.